Today we're going to visit the most prestigious university in all of China.
And when we say the most prestigious, it's not just because it ranks number 12 among the best universities in the world, but also because it's the alma mater of some of the most important people in this country,
including the current president Xi Jinping. But among all the extraordinary students at this university, there's one who stands out because of his very unique story. And today, he's going to be our guide. So come with me to meet him. Hello, Tokayo. It's such a joy to see you again.
Here, when we forget our card, we have the QR code. So with this, they let us in and check everything for us.
Ah, perfect. Let's sneak into the university first, and now I'll introduce you to our guide. Step number 1, success. We're in. Hey, namesake, but come on, introduce yourself to the people.
Well, my name is Max, I'm 23 years old, and you're probably thinking, he's 23 and hasn't finished university yet. In the video, you'll find out why he hasn't finished. But I'm from Saltillo, and I came here to China to study my degree. First, I started studying in Mexico City at NAWAC, but I felt like something was missing, and I wanted to feel a bit more challenged in many areas. And I knew since I was a kid that there was this university called Tsinghua, which is the best in everything related to numbers in China. And since I'm studying economics
at the number 12 university in the world.
Sometimes it's number 2, sometimes it's number 11, sometimes it's number 10.
There are different rankings, that's true. So now my namesake is going to tell us his story because it's really interesting, and as I said, it's very different from most of the students we have here.
On the left is the stadium where we take all our physical education exams, because we have to take physical education exams. They're really tough, you know? And then over here on the right is where we're going to go a little later, to my swimming class. All of that is the pool. That's a bunker. If there were ever a war, all the students from Tsinghua could fit in there.
They're well prepared, huh? Well, as you saw, we're going to see a swimming class, we're going to check out the cafeteria, and we're going to see another class, which is... what is it about?
Embryology.
There's life on campus. So much life. I see students everywhere, and there's nothing more energizing than the vibe of a university. Young people, people with dreams, not like us who are already outdated, right? No?
Name?
But how exciting, how exciting. What is this, Tokayo? What a beautiful view.
The main building of Tsinghua is called Daliang. In that building over there, the best minds of China used to be prepared to go and apply to Harvard or Stanford or those universities. But at some point, the Chinese started to say, why are we sending the best minds of China abroad? Why not keep cultivating them here instead? And that's when Tsinghua was established as a university for China. Before, it was just preparation for the Ivies.
It's now part of the Chinese Ivy League. The architecture is surprising. You wouldn't think you're in China looking at these buildings.
Yes, that one is inspired by the Pantheon in Rome. If you look online, it looks the same. Those are the old classrooms.
They're beautiful. Are there still classrooms there?
Yes. Last semester I had public speaking classes there.
This is the most iconic photo of the university, where hundreds of tourists come, and they say it gets really crowded on weekends. They're kids who maybe take the photo to be able to visualize and manifest the acceptance letter that's so desired by all the Chinese and apparently by Mexicans too. Few can get into this university, which is why it's so prestigious.
This is building 3. It's divided by floors. Floors 1, 2, and 3 are for men, floors 4, 5, and 6 are for women, and all the floors have about 2 common areas. So, here we have the water dispensers, we have a shared fridge, some utensils to wash our things, and this is usually where we're allowed to plug in things under 1,000 watts. But we can cook here. We don't have a kitchen in this building, other buildings do. This area is just a common space. It's kind of cool because it has connections to the 4th floor, and each floor's common area is different.
Did you choose this dorm or was it assigned to you?
It was assigned to us because it's for undergraduates. On this floor specifically, there are 3 people in a room, but there are some rooms for 2 people and some single rooms. These are the dorms, this is my room, but right now my roommate is sleeping. China has evolved a lot, right? And everything uses QR codes. We even do our laundry with QR codes, so here are our clothes and the washing machine. And you go here to the IP, scan here, and they charge us 3 yuan, and you can choose the temperature. This one here is hot, cold.
Does your dorm have a bathroom?
No, it's shared. These are the sinks, and on this side are the showers. We have water restrictions, which is a bit complicated for us, but from 6 in the morning to midnight we can take a shower. And every Monday, today, they do maintenance on the pipes, so on Mondays from 9 to 5 we don't have hot water. And on this side, when you want to study here, these are our study rooms. This is where you sit down to study. There are the air conditioner units, the air conditioners. I say air conditioner because I'm from the north and we call it air conditioner, but I know some of you say air conditioner, so air conditioner. And well, we come here to chat at night or to work on our assignments. Or simply, if you want to get out of your dorm room for a bit, sometimes it's a bit complicated because since there are 3 of us and the university, as you can see, there are a lot of people, you're never alone. I mean, you're always with or eating with a lot of people. And then you go to the library and there are people, and then you go to your room and there are people. So sometimes these places are the ones that let you relax a little.
Do you know how much a dorm room costs here?
Yes, for locals or Chinese people, it's nearly free. They pay about 2,000 to 5,000 yuan per year, covering everything at the university, including dorms. For us, it depends on the room. When there are 3 people, I think they charge us about 15 or 20 yuan.
15 or 20 yuan?
Per day?
I said per month. No way, I want to live here too.
No, per day. In this dormitory, we have people from Pakistan, Korea, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, India.
Who do you share with?
I share with my roommate. He's from Armenia and South Korea.
From South Korea?
So I get free skincare.
Now we're not going to go into the bedroom because obviously it's not just up to max, but maybe we can come back later. And if not, then we'll show you some pictures or something.
This is really funny, but here they expose people for doing something wrong. They don't name them, but still post it. Someone from the School of Economics parked their car where they shouldn't have for the 2nd time. According to Article 41 of the university, they don't allow it. Or if someone slept where they shouldn't, or if they left things here. This is a common area. Normally here with my generation, we have a tradition of always celebrating our birthdays at midnight. We always celebrate birthdays and they prepare a surprise for you.
Hey, and can you drink here?
Yes.
Oh, they let you bring in beer?
Yes. This is also another study area. Here it's allowed to make noise. So we bring speakers here when there are parties and we play music here. We do everything. These are the
study areas / meeting areas. Hey, but that's crazy because all of this is inside the dome. I mean, we're not talking about the university's sports facilities.
And well, this is our gym, mini gym, right? Here we have space for yoga, for those who want to dance.
Do they offer extra classes here?
Yes, interestingly, when you start university here, Chinese students must complete military service, while we do something similar called international service. But for us, they make us take classes, and as part of that, we have almost a month where we wake up from 7 in the morning until about 9 in the morning. We practice a Kung Fu style called Wushu all month, and everyone here knows it. As you know, it's very hard for something to get stolen from us in China because there are cameras everywhere, but people don't care and just leave their things. This has probably been here for more than 2 days already. So it says, "Hello, this is a common area of the dormitory. Please don't put your personal belongings here." Remember that the dormitory staff will take this and put it in lost and found one day after this notice.
Notice the computer here. We won't open it out of respect, but the charger is outside and there's likely something important inside. They're scolding you for leaving it. Hey Tokayo, I see there are a lot of bicycles and people riding electric scooters. Can you just bring your scooter in like it's nothing?
You can bring a scooter to campus, but you must park it in designated areas.
You can charge it here and more.
Charging your battery inside the dome isn't allowed, so people usually go to other stations to charge them. There's a guy on WeChat who, for 15 yuan, takes your battery at night, charges it, and returns it in the morning. What's up with that?
No way, what's up with that? Those are things that only happen in China, huh?
Yeah, seriously, where are we headed now, Tokayo? Tell me.
Since we're here before eating, I want to show you this area. This here is one of the 11 or 12 cafeterias we have. Each cafeteria represents a different region of China, so here are some regions, and here there's Peking duck. And the 2nd floor has other things, and the 3rd floor is a restaurant for professors, right behind the dormitory, where the cafeteria is too. We have a lot of things. You can get laundry services like dry cleaning and sneaker washing, and people will help clean your clothes here. Hello?
Hello?
We are recording a video.
What video?
I'm recommending your services because you're the best.
What are you saying?
Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello?
Do you also wash shoes?
He washes shoes, clothes, and also irons. She has helped and saved me from many things. When one of my wheels broke, she fixed it too.
She can also repair things.
Yes.
You can do everything.
You also fixed a belt for me.
Whatever it is.
Everything.
Nice to meet you. The best place to do laundry, I loved it.
They repair iPads and cell phones here, but don't have the battery my phone needs. It's a mini supermarket.
This university is like a whole city.
Yeah, we really don't need to go out. I only go out if I care about someone or have to leave the university. Otherwise, I stay in. We basically have everything here.
This really surprises me because at the university supermarket they sell all kinds of alcohol. They have Corona beer, they have Korean soju, even wine. And well, in other universities at Tecnológico de Monterrey, for example, where I studied, they sold everything except alcohol and condoms. I don't know why condoms, but they didn't sell them. Look, they have bimbo croissants that I love, how interesting, and here they're called doffy. They have matcha bimbo croissants.
No! They have it in a mini version.
Take them.
A quick snack.
Is his name Bimbao?
Bimbao, yes, look. Do you know where this brand is from?
No idea.
It's from Mexico. We're very proud of it. This is the craziest thing in this little hallway. From the outside, you can see it's a fruit shop, right? But come a little further inside.
Oh my god!
And here we get our haircut.
What is this? It's a fruit shop slash barber shop, and also what a barber shop, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's not just any place.
A haircut costs us 30 yuan.
How cheap. Let's take them to see the first cafe. Apparently it's 4 floors of pure food and they're divided by style. First, let's check out the fast food. This is what Max called the local McDonald's. Let's go in and see what it's about. And indeed, here you can find fried chicken burgers, French fries, soft drinks, the classic Macombo, but in its Chinese version. They even sell the classic McDonald's pie, but in this case, it's red bean fried. To place your order, you can come here to the machines just like you would at any McDonald's, and here you can see the items. Prices start from 6 yuan for a small burger and go up to 33 for a double beef burger. As for the drinks, they're very cheap, 4 yuan, and if you want a McTrio, it costs 30 yuan, which is about 90 Mexican pesos. Here is the student cafeteria, and this one is really packed. You grab your tray over here, look how crowded it is, and that's because it's 12:25 lunchtime. Here, the food isn't delayed even for a second, and look, here are the chopsticks. These are the cleaning machines, and up here you can see on the screens what they have. For example, in this case, they have mushroom and chicken soup. Here they have all kinds of dumplings, and over here we have the cleaning area. People have to come and leave their trays here, and the ladies take care of the rest. They discard chopsticks here and place spoons here, making the process much more efficient.
I want you to see how cool the students here are. I mean, it's the best university. It's the guy from here. One day...
Nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
See? He already speaks Spanish perfectly.
A lot of pleasure, yes.
Nice to meet you.
One day I was eating in a cafeteria, and he saw me speaking Spanish with my dad, and he followed me and asked, "Do you speak Spanish?"
Are you from Spain? But he was mistaken because I wasn't from Spain, I was from Mexico.
And you? How did you learn Spanish?
I started learning Spanish 6 or 7 years ago, but I only studied for a short time, about 3 or 4 months. I wasn't learning much, but after coming here to Tsinghua University, I took a class taught by the teachers here, and this class helped me a lot. But I dropped this course because I was learning another language, German.
Well, you speak German very well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Do you also speak German?
I'll tell you later, but I know 7 languages.
I got a B2 grade in German in 6 months. I'm going to take the B2 Spanish exam right now. My listening and reading comprehension is better than my spoken Spanish. I'm going to improve my spoken Spanish.
How many languages do you speak?
Right now, I can speak 3 languages relatively well. Chinese is my native language. I've studied English since I was 4 years old, and I got a B2 grade in German.
Do you have a dialect?
I'm from the northeast. That's a part of China, and I can speak Tombehua from China, a Chinese dialect.
But I speak 4 because I speak English, Chinese, Spanish.
I can also speak a little French.
Wow, what's going on here?
Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool, he said, very cool.
Yes.
I'm going crazy.
I like words like chido, chévere, buenísimo, guapo.
Just a little while.
Just a little while.
Do you know what ahorita means?
Ahorita? Yes, now, right now, in a bit, in a little while.
What's your name in Spanish?
I don't have one right now, but you can give me a name.
I already gave you one.
It will be a great pleasure.
I had called you Santi.
Santi, I like it. Santi from Santiago.
It would give me a lot of pleasure. Santi is really cool.
I love it, brother. It's truly a pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
And congratulations, huh? You're a real genius.
Genius.
See you, it was a pleasure. We just saw the reflection of the people who come to this university. It blew my mind. He's speaking to us in Spanish, and then Max starts talking to him in German, showing off hidden talents we didn't know about. How many languages do you speak, Tokayo?
Look, I speak 6 languages and a dialect. My mother tongue is Spanish, then I learned English, then I started learning Chinese at 10 years old, and then I learned German. Then at school I learned Portuguese. And finally here in China, I learned Italian. And well, I lived in Taiwan for a while, so I also speak Taiwanese.
Wow.
Yes, and I'll soon learn French because I'm going on exchange to Montreal.
Who said Mexicans aren't awesome? There's the proof. It's great that within the university you can rent your bicycle. They charge me 1 yuan and 50 cents each time I use it.
All of these are still dormitories, but here they're Chinese dormitories.
Are Chinese dormitories different?
Yes, although there are a lot of international students at the university, there's still some separation or segregation between internationals and Chinese. So even though we share classes with them, we don't live with them. There are things like Communist Party classes that we can't attend or anything like that.
Ah, they have party classes.
This is the C building, one of the largest supermarkets located in the basement with everything you need. Here you can get your passport photos taken, get your glasses fixed, pray, get your shoes cleaned. There's everything there and it's open 24 hours. Now let's go to the main cafeteria then.
Okay.
It's called Tsujing Yuan.
Hey, but the other one was packed.
This one too.
I can't imagine how it is.
Welcome to Tsujing.
Do you have international food?
Not here, but we do have international restaurants.
Okay, that's surprising because the other cafeteria we went to was packed and they have a lot more and they're bigger.
That's from Hong Kong, that's from Canton, that over there is from Huayang, and that over there is from Shanghai.
They have the ducks there. Look, each of these sections is the specialty of a different province. They have Southeast Asian food too, not just from China.
The cafeterias are also impressive for their prices. If you want to eat cheaply, you can for just 11 kwai. Let's check out the next floor. There are 4 you can see.
Does each one have different food?
Each one is different. They are my friends. Let's go eat with them now. Bonjour. Look, this is Kenji.
I wore the worst shirt today.
He's from France. Victor?
Victor from France.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Victor.
What's your name?
I'm Max. Are they your friends from France?
Yes, they are my friends from France.
What language do they speak?
With them, I speak English, and they are also the ones who are teaching me French.
That's the benefit of coming to an international university. You end up learning a bit of everything.
What do you feel like eating? Because there's some really delicious Macau food on the 3rd floor. If you like Macau food, I love Macau food. Honestly,
You decide because it's more like what would you eat today? That's what we'll eat.
don't they have potatoes anymore?
We only have what you see.
All right, serve me some of this. Well, it's always like this here very fast because people get tense. But look, we have our profile, we have the code, and with this we pay here. But only those of us from the university can do that, no one else from outside. On the top floor, they might say, I represent Mexico poorly, but I don't. I eat a lot of spicy food.
You don't eat spicy food?
And the 4th floor is the spiciest.
Look, here's the Macau food they promised us.
It's something that honestly looks a little Mexican. It's chicken with some kind of white cream, and then rice, like with bacon, and the fish. Well, there are 3 little ones. Here you have to put trout because they get in there. Hi, can I get a rice, the fish one, and also the chicken one, please?
Here are the prices so you can see how cheap it is. They start at 8 yuan and the most expensive one is 15.
Still, we can grab something else there if you want. Johnny is my friend from Germany.
Wherever we go, Max meets people.
Here there are also salads with really good bread. All of this here.
This is the small shop where you can buy drinks.
Yes, drinks. Please get me 3 bottles of water, cold, please.
Hey Tokayo, I see this one is less crowded than the other. I wonder why.
Well, also because it's almost 1 o'clock, we all usually have to do it at 1:30. Here at Tsinghua, life is very fast-paced. Anyway, we always have homework, we have exams, we have to be in class all the time.
Everyone seemed rushed. You took a moment to pay and I saw they were getting impatient.
They get impatient and angry.
Yeah, I imagine they want to rest before their next class. You guys have been here for quite a while, right? At Tsinghua?
Actually, just a couple of months. We're here for an exchange, so it'll be about a semester.
Living in China is crazy, don't you think?
Yes, it's crazy. Here at the university, everything is so big compared to France. There are so many people, and also the food is really varied, right? Yes? So the first time you go into the cafeteria, it seems like there are so many floors, and the food comes from all over China, right? It's very different from France, where basically there's just one line. Everyone eats the same thing. Yes, here there's an incredible variety. Yes.
There are many cafeterias here, right?
And 100,000 students.
100,000 students? That's crazy. Some foreigners think that Chinese food is a bit greasy, so do you find it hard to find healthy food?
I think I've gained maybe a couple of kilos since I got here. No, you can definitely eat healthy if you want. There are many types of food, so you feel like trying a lot. And in the end, I think I eat more than I did in France.
What do French university students eat daily?
In France, there are 3 stages when eating. First, you have your starter, you have a couple of options, and then your main course. You have 2 or 3 options, and then you order dessert. And if you want bread, right? And cheese, always cheese, yes.
Does the school cafeteria serve cheese?
Yes, every day. Yes, every day. Camembert or brie. We eat cheese every day.
It's so stereotypical.
Honestly, it really is.
Can you buy alcohol at university in France?
I don't think so. I've never seen it.
So you've really enjoyed your time here, right?
It's nothing like what I expected.
What did you expect?
I don't think I expected it to be so lively. I was expecting a calmer and more disciplined culture. But honestly, there are so many events happening all the time. The teachers are always very kind, aren't they? They're always very helpful.
And would you say it's harder to study here than in France? Maybe because of the homework, the projects, the overall level?
I don't think so. Maybe I have less work here than in France.
And what are you studying?
In France, I'm studying general engineering, right? Because France collaborates with engineering schools. You learn many different subjects and only specialize like later on in China. In China, I feel you focus on one subject.
For them, it's more relaxed. Because they are exchange students, so they have between 4 and 5 courses, while undergraduate students like us have between 11 and 12, so we have a lot of homework and other things.
For me, it's different since I'm studying the Chinese language program and I have about 10 courses per week on Chinese, and we have a lot of homework.
Do you communicate in Chinese every day?
I can, but only for the basics.
Do you think it's possible to come to this school without knowing Chinese?
Yes, of course, you can start at the beginner level, and after 6 months, you can already speak it.
How about living in China without speaking Chinese? Do you think it's possible?
The first 2 weeks are tough. You can be pretty lost without Chinese, so you need to know a little Chinese like this.
If you learn the basics.
Yes, you can.
You are safe.
But there are a lot of people who live here for decades and don't learn a single word.
That's great. We made some friends from France who have been studying here for a while. Also, getting to know their experience as people who come from the first world, so to speak, is very interesting. And even they have been impressed with the infrastructure and the Tsinghua system, but now we have to go to the pool because Max has a swimming exam.
This is where my friend says that at night we bring picnic mats and just hang out with the weather, talking at night, and this is nothing. The swimming exam I have right now is only 50% of my physical education grade. The other 20% is doing pull-ups. We have to do 21 if we want the full 20%. Also, running 3 kilometers in 12 minutes and 20 seconds.
And is that for the Chinese too?
Yes, for everyone.
I'm going to be swimming right now, but on this side over here is the big gym. If you go to the very bottom floor, that's where the hockey and skating rinks are. Downstairs is the tennis area. Everything's there.
That's cool.
Something very interesting. When you want to swim and you forget something, you can buy it. Look, it's a vending machine with, well, there's Tsinghua merchandise, but we also have things like caps, goggles for when you forget them, obviously, and swimsuits. Yes, swimsuits and everything.
Basketballs, soccer balls, they even have pandas here. The cameras at the entrance saw us and didn't let us in. So, we won't know how Max did on his exam until he comes out, but after that we'll be able to record the pool once the class is over. And in the meantime, we're going to the main gym so you can see the sports facilities. It's really interesting that we're touring the gym and its surroundings, and pretty much everything is like a bunker. Look, just see how many heavy doors there are. Here we have 4 more doors, and it's no surprise, Max had already told us about it. What do you think of the hockey rink at Tsinghua University? I really haven't seen anything like this at any university in Mexico, and I'm not trying to downplay it. It's just that I really haven't seen it. What do you think of this marvel? Inside the sports area, they have an artificial ski slope, and they also have skis, helmets, and all the equipment you need to learn skiing or snowboarding. It's impressive that they have all this at a public university, because keep in mind, this is a public university. It's a university that for the Chinese students who manage to get in is completely free and they have access to all these facilities. And that's why getting in is so competitive. Over here we have the squash center, which is beautiful. Just look at the courts they have. Not even a private club has courts like these. But it's not just squash. There are also facilities for snowboarding, skiing, ping pong. There are facilities for every sport.
They didn't let us record in class, but I got 46 out of 50. This is where we take swimming.
What about this one? Is it for diving?
This one's for diving. Everyone's already doing it.
Ah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's Olympic size, right?
Yeah, actually, the guy who was walking over there is my coach, and he went to the Olympics like 2 or 3 times. Most of the sports coaches are Olympic athletes.
Wow. And now I think we're going to have an embryology class, right?
Yeah, embryology, yes, how babies are formed. But it's funny because a lot of people ask me, is your major economics? So why are you studying this?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Embryology, right? Our curriculum includes required social science classes like chemistry and society, or others you find interesting. Honestly, I've always been fascinated by how embryos form. We have to take physics and a cultural course. For example, I'm taking ancient Chinese civilization with history. So we need a well-rounded mix beyond our major.
Full studies, so let's go to embryology class. Let's see if they'll let us in there. Look, the number of bicycles here is impressive. They even need traffic lights.
I suggested for rush hours, I have said that there really should be traffic lights because there are a lot of accidents.
Yes, I'm sure.
Especially since there are motorcycles and some come from the wrong direction.
No, if you drop something here, you'll cause a pileup. Hey, what time is rush hour?
Every time a class ends, the building here is called Tsinghua Xingxuetang, which is like a pavilion. And the Swan Lake comes, or orchestras come.
Well, it's like the theater.
Yes, it's a beautiful new theater, and luckily I've sung there twice.
Ah, that's right, you sing. Since we haven't done the interview yet, we still don't know Max in depth. He has hidden talents. There are few things Tokayo can't do.
This here is my faculty. This is the Faculty of Economics and Business. It's the newest building right now. At Tsinghua, there are robots that clean the bathrooms. They're like Japanese bathrooms.
Yes, there it is. School of Economics and Management.
We took our graduation photo here.
Almost. And now it's time for you to tell us your story. How did you end up studying at the most prestigious university in China?
It's a bit of a funny and complicated story. My family has a Western clothing store where we used to bring our products from the United States. I attended a school with half the day in English and half in Spanish, but we mostly learned the same material in both languages. I would get a bit bored in English class since I'd already learned it in Spanish. One day I told my dad I wanted to learn something new because class was boring, and he suggested learning another language. I agreed. We went to a language center and they had German and Chinese. And at first they had an open class where you could go and see the teachers and see which class you liked more. At that time, the German class had a lot of kids. I mean, my age, they were like 10, 9 years old, and I thought, that's cool, because I can make some friends, right? After we got home, I told my dad I wanted to learn German, but he suggested I learn Chinese, saying it would be very important in the future. It was 2009, 2010 back then, so the boom was just starting, but it wasn't that big yet. The Olympics had just happened. I remember the first Chinese song I learned was the Olympic song Chin Chi Li Chi Gu Chan Chi. But that's how I started learning Chinese when I was 10 years old. But the only problem is that maybe not many people know. But when people travel to Mexico, Chinese people often don't have the opportunity to stay outside their country for long and have to return. So sometimes we had a teacher, sometimes we didn't, and for me it was a bit tiring because besides my teacher would come to me and I had a classmate. This classmate was around, I don't know, maybe almost 40 years old. It was a kid and a man of 40 years. He often traveled to China for business, so when he was there was no class since they couldn't just teach me alone. So it was kind of a complicated process to try to learn, and I said, what can I do to learn Chinese? That's when I began visiting Chinese restaurants outside Soriana and sometimes Ichiwi, ordering food using the little Chinese I knew then. And one of those times I asked them, hey, do you need someone to work with you? And they said, no, we're already full, we'd love to, but our boss won't let us. And I said, well, why don't you tell your boss that I'll work for free just to learn Chinese?
It wasn't complicated because many Chinese people who live abroad speak Cantonese, Fushunese, and they have a really complicated accent.
Yeah, so I started learning that kind of Chinese, like Cantonese.
You started in extreme mode?
But it was very complicated because I started with simplified Chinese. And then later it was Chinese with a teacher from Beijing. And then later it was with Cantonese people. And then after that, that was when I was a little sad because I had always wanted to come here to study Chinese. But what was happening? The programs to go to China at that time were very expensive. Though my parents wanted to give me those things with all their love and care, it just wasn't possible then. That's when I began learning German. In short, I learned German one summer by watching Stranger Things with English and German subtitles using Learn Languages with Netflix. That's when I said, okay, let's go with education first, or with programs that let you go on an exchange. And in one of those, I found something called the Rotary Association. So the Rotarians had an opportunity for Taiwan. So, at 17 years old, after having been with the Chinese people working with them, I went to Taiwan.
Over there, it's a different system. I mean, it's still Mandarin, but it's a different system and also a different accent.
And a different way of writing.
Even a different mentality. I mean, mainland Chinese people have a certain mentality and Taiwanese people have another, and it's noticeable in many ways. So, what was it like for you to arrive in Taiwan? What were your first impressions of seeing everything in Chinese and arriving in a completely different system?
I think that's when it really hit me that I had to be in an environment where Chinese was spoken, or I would have never learned it.
Yes.
I had studied Chinese before coming to Taiwan, but it wasn't until I arrived that it truly became real for me. I told them I needed certain things, but I couldn't understand their answers. Even after years of studying, I was confused. So I went to Taiwan and mastered Chinese there. And it was there where I remembered again that Tsinghua existed. I mean, my teacher when I was little had already told me that Tsinghua existed, but in Taiwan, that's where I got the idea again and thought, why not apply? I was also thinking about Harvard, Yale, and other United States universities at that time.
Aiming for the stars from the beginning, huh?
I went back to Mexico, and when the pandemic started, registrations here closed. The only way to come was through certain online programs, but not all were available. And what happened was that, thank God, the school I was in offered me a scholarship and I went to Mexico City. I did my economics degree there for 2 years, and one day I was in class. I liked my classes and I liked everything I was doing, and obviously I had a very comfortable life. I loved going out with my friends. In fact, I think one of the hardest things was leaving Mexico City to come here. Not the sacrifices, but I had something inside me that said I wanted something more. And one day in microeconomics class, I was there with my friends and I told a friend, let's enjoy these last few months because I'm leaving soon. I just said it out of nowhere, just out of nowhere. And I started looking up Tsinghua and saw that applications were already open, and I said, I'm going to apply to Tsinghua. I'm not going to tell my parents, I'm not going to tell my friends, I'm not going to tell anyone. If I get in, I'm going to go, and I did it. I went through the application process, and it wasn't until I saw that it said admitted that I told my mom, I told my dad, and that's when I said, hey, I just got accepted. At Tsinghua, it's one of the biggest opportunities.
Did they know what Tsinghua was? I mean, did they have any idea how important this university is?
I don't think so. I think at that moment they probably didn't understand, and there was a bit of like, Max, think carefully if you really want to start your degree all over again.
They must have said, you're crazy. If you had mentioned Tsinghua to me 5 years ago, I would have said, so what, you know? Because you don't understand the significance, right?
There's little about it on Google. Thankfully, during the pandemic, I already knew Chinese. Before coming to Tsinghua, I subsidized some things to pay for my plane tickets. An opportunity came up where I was able to work with a company called CITIC in Mexico. I worked with them opening a plant that was part of CITIC from the CITIC group. I was the translator for a year and a half, which gave me some practice with the Beijing Chinese accent.
Arhuain?
Arhuain, yes, I was there that year, and now, yes, in 2023.
You finally made it to Tsinghua.
To China, to Tsinghua. I remember landing and actually shedding a tear of finally. For years I chased the dream of arriving in China, and it just hadn't happened. But that's when I understood that God's plans are also so perfect, and that there's a perfect time for you to be there.
Definitely. And also your experience is really interesting because not only did you get to the university in China, but you also had the opportunity to spend 2 years at one of the best universities in Mexico. So, you were able to compare both systems, and that's why I want to ask you, in your experience, what would you say is the difference between studying in Mexico and studying in China at such prestigious universities?
Student life is very different. I think in China, everything is a bit more reserved. You go out with your friends, but it's more like, let's have some tea or let's go to the library to study. And even though there are student associations, there isn't that kind of punch that universities over there sometimes have. The problem is that I was involved in the Association of Out-of-Towners, in the association of all that. and there were elections, and since there were a lot of events like that, it allowed you to build a strong student community.
Would you say, for example, that in Mexico they might focus more on making the university experience memorable, making sure you have a good time, that it's a social experience, and that you also grow as a person alongside your studies? Whereas in China, maybe the focus is on making you the best student possible and the person with the most information possible, and then you go out and live your life?
Yes, I think it's a lot of information and it doesn't really allow you to have such an active life, exactly.
Yes, is it true what many people think, that Chinese people live to study and that on Sundays they take their books to the libraries and people study everywhere? Is that true?
Yes, it's true, but I want to add that balance is possible.
Looking back and saying, I achieved something so complicated, even though I had to suffer, even though I had to work for free, even though I had to travel to the other side of the planet. I imagine it must fill you with satisfaction and self-confidence to say, look at everything I have achieved. And when you graduate from this university, you'll surely look back and say, how awesome am I? I mean, it was hard, I suffered, I was tired, but I feel so proud. So there are two ways to look at life. Maybe for them, all that effort is worth it because they can look back and say, I built the country you see today. And that's like the impenetrable barrier of culture. We were talking about it a while ago. You speak Chinese very well, excellent. I mean, the fact that you can take an embryology class in Mandarin it blows my mind because that's when I discovered what the language barrier really is. But you were saying that even speaking this level of Chinese, being able to connect with a Chinese friend, maybe with a girlfriend, with a partner, or really integrating into a group is complicated. We'll never have the mindset of a Chinese person which differs from that of a German person. Because the German grew up watching Hollywood, the German grew up watching the same soccer as you, the German grew up with the same television shows. On the other hand, the Chinese grew up in a bubble that we really can't enter and we never will be able to enter. What would you say, for example, has been or have been the biggest culture shocks you've experienced while studying here?
There are little things that I think sometimes the Chinese or Asian culture in general can be very strict about following rules. I mean, they follow the rules exactly as they are, for example, in class. Professor, I'd like to add something because this looks better here, but it's not allowed by the rules.
And what would you say is what you like the most or what you enjoy the most about studying here?
I think number one is being able to understand different minds. Here, obviously, I interact with the best minds in China, and that's incredible. Seeing how they think, what they're doing, and where they're heading, but also the number of internationals you find here. I mean, I think that an international who's in China already has a different mindset. At this university, each year for undergraduate studies, they accept about 3,000 and something people. Out of those 3,000, there are about 150 of us who are internationals, but out of those 150, maybe around 80, many of the 100 are Asians born outside China, but labeled internationals due to different passports. Of the remaining 50, about half have families living in China. And then there are just a few left, like 20, who are like me, who really have no contact with China at all. Our parents have never been to China or Asia, and no one in my family speaks the language. Yet coming here, I always learn a lot from them. I've dealt with a lot of political ideologies, personal ideologies that clash, but when we have class debates, it's super interesting to see their perspectives too.
Being here teaches you the world is much bigger and not everything is black or white. There are many shades of gray. And finally, Tocayo, what would you say to people or to Latino students who aspire, like you, maybe not only to get to Tsinghua, but to Peking University, to Harvard, to a top-level university? Because you are living proof that it can be done, even when you are the only Mexican or the only Latino. In a classroom full of Chinese students at the most prestigious university in the country.
Never really get discouraged. I mean, I think if there is a dream, right now we're talking about universities, right? Maybe about Harvard, about Tsinghua, but beyond just a university. I mean, whatever dream you have, perseverance is the key to many things. I think that in life, there are always moments when you're down and moments when you're up. Sometimes it will be harder to get up early, face tough situations, lack money, or miss opportunities. Motivating yourself sometimes, but there's a phrase that I think sums up my whole life. You prepare the horse for battle, but ultimately victory comes from God, the universe, Buddha, or whatever you choose to call it. So I believe that when you prepare yourself, doors start to open. I came here at 21, 11 years ago. I said, I want to go to China. And even though there were times when I thought I would never make it to China, I always tried to look for the best. And when Taiwan came up, I went. Even after many years, I believe it happens when it's meant to.
Definitely, I totally agree. Tocayo, thank you so much for this wonderful day. This unique opportunity to be here wouldn't exist without Max. Thank you so much for your time today.